Hi, Jeff Burke here from the Broadband Forum, and I'm here with Lincoln Lavoie, who's our technical chair at the Broadband Forum. Hi, Lincoln.
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
I'm great. Lincoln is part of a work group we have here called PhyTx, which is focused on physical access, and he's active across a number of different project streams that we have going on there. And I wanted to just talk to you, Lincoln, about maybe you can talk about what PhyTx is in general, and maybe we'll go what some of the hot topics are right now.
Sure. So PhyTx is working on a number of project streams. Some of them are very focused around testing and certification efforts that are ongoing. So we've been kind of working with those programs and maintenance or upkeep or definition of new tests and stuff like that. So where we're seeing focus this week, obviously, is the continued evolution of things around Gfast, so the certification program that the Broadband Forum has for that, as well as testing programs and development around Wi-Fi. So there's a couple of projects actually active in that project stream, so kind of lumped together in terms of the in-premises performance testing, and then we're seeing a lot of activity in terms of contributions coming in on the newest bit of work there that's looking at performance requirements for video over Wi-Fi. So think in-home distribution of video and doing that over the in-home Wi-Fi network, and then what the requirements and the performance and the testing of that would be. And then it's not only testing that's happening in that group, so I don't want to kind of convey that message. They actually just kicked off a new project stream this meeting where it's actually called FANCE. Kind of a great little acronym name, but what it is it's fiber access networks copper extensions. So it's looking at some of the maintenance and the ongoing support for the fiber to the distribution point architecture, so relating to Gfast on that front, but then also looking at other technologies and how other technologies could be leveraged in kind of that last little hop when you've got fiber deep into the network and such, and you're trying to deal with some of those issues on that equipment and support and kind of architectural bit. And then last but not least, you have some kind of other things that are hanging out there in terms of reverse power feeding and making sure that some of those technologies are being addressed and stuff like that. So it's all of those kind of access network functions and stuff that you need to actually get that service out to your end users.
Sure, a lot of really fascinating stuff going on there, really interesting. So what's the general view you have and why a lot of this work is really relevant right now to the industry?
Well, I mean, you're seeing a big push to actually kind of push the services levels or the service performances and stuff like that end users are able to get up in terms of bandwidth. So having more bandwidth at home, having lower latencies and less delays in your connections. These are the technologies that are facilitating that, right? And so then with respect to the Wi-Fi stuff, you're seeing the service providers looking to drive down support and operational costs in terms of having better quality of equipment that's either out in the network or having better techniques for troubleshooting or deployments or any of that stuff. So that's kind of, I think, probably some of the bigger driving factors in terms of that work area.
And we had one of our birds of a feather sessions in which we were really focused on a PhyTx area with reverse powering. Maybe you can talk about what happened in that and all the participants.
Sure. So kind of back up, it wasn't only reverse powering, it was just kind of powering in general, really looking when you're actually, again, that deep out into the network node, right? So all of the kind of key architectures that we're seeing today is really fiber dense, right? So let's push fiber as far as we can, if not into the end user's residence. But when you start having equipment that far from the central office, powering starts to become something that you have to really put a lot of engineering resource towards. So how do you get the power there, whether it's local power, it's coming from the normal nation power grid, it's coming power from the customer or consumer or subscriber, so reverse power. Are you doing some type of span or long distance powering, so off of a central office, but being able to run that out over larger copper wires or something like that? Or multiple copper pairs. So there's a kind of a bunch of different architectural approaches to that, and so the BOF really kind of honed in on what a few of those are, how they relate to what we're working on today, and what might we be able to work on in the future and stuff like that.
Huge impacts on crossing the digital divide,
Yep.
in getting products to market faster, right, as well as getting operational costs way down. So, and then the results of that were really just educating the overall Broadband Forum members, and now from this, what will happen?
Right, so I think there was a couple of key takeaways from the BOF actually of there might be some places where we can augment some of our existing specifications. So having CPE definitions maybe include some more information about what's kind of the common requirements, common interfaces to things like battery backup. So if you think about what that means in terms of services, using the battery and then the CPE doing that reverse power feeding for some of the network equipment, this becomes important when that CPE might also be responsible for providing things like lifelines, POT services and stuff like that. So getting that, again, that kind of common definition of things like a battery backup or something like that, it just gives kind of that common language for, the customer-supplier relationship between service providers and their suppliers to kind of have that common language to be able to know what the requirements are and talk at the same level and stuff like that. So that, I think that's one of the really big strengths. So we're going to see, that work push those new requirements into the standard. We'll probably see some of that pull into the work that we're already doing today with reverse power feed and stuff like that. And then we might see some new architectural stuff coming up with even the span or the forward powering.
Sure. And so looking forward to 2019, any things that you anticipate that will be hot in terms of deliveries?
Sure. So, I think early 2019 we'll be seeing the final version of the Wi-Fi performance testing coming out. That's getting pretty much wrapped up during this meeting. We've seen a bunch of contributions coming in on the new project on that video over Wi-Fi, so I would really expect that to kind of continue as a bigger topic in 2019. Gfast certification for 212 megahertz systems are going to be in 2019. So it's going to be a pretty good start to the year, I think, in terms of like what I can tell with the crystal ball for the 6 months or so. I don't want to jump too far beyond that because then somebody's going to hold me to it. But
well, there's certainly no short of exciting things, and I imagine that we're always looking for new folks to come in and join and provide both insights and use cases and skills to some of these emerging areas.
Oh, certainly. We with the reverse power feeding stuff, we've actually seen some of our newest members coming in there, and then we've even seen on the Wi-Fi front that driving companies that haven't traditionally been participating here coming in and showing a lot of interest. So definitely attracting folks and getting kind of attention in the industry.
Great. Well, Lincoln, thank you for your insights into this critical area of communications overall, and basically the ability to not only serve the existing billion connected homes well, but serve the next billion with all sorts of creative ways of reaching out to them.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Jeff.
All right. This is Jeff Burke and Lincoln Lavoie signing off from Glasgow.